Oh my gosh, you look so cute.
You always say that. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Guess what I got today?
What you get? Another earring piercing? A nose ring? Oh my God. I love it. Oh my God, it's so cute. Oh my God, you look like a totally different person. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Josh, I haven't seen him in like 20 years.
Oh my God.
What's good with y'all?
Hey.
How y'all doing?
Oh my
Good.
God. So
How are
good.
you?
Hey, I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling. Blessed. Can't complain about much.
Yes, that's what's up. I didn't even realize you were in Dallas. Is that you
Right.
just visiting or you stay?
I've been living in Dallas since 2015.
Really?
Yeah.
Why we didn't know that?
Man, he a country boy now.
Nah, I'm chill. I'm still from up north.
I'm like, where you been at?
Nah, like I moved out here. Like July 2015, and was doing a bunch of contract design work, and then I started teaching probably about 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago. And I've been teaching ever since. Started my but nah, the money out here, man. Like the price of living is like the money go further. So I'm like, I'm out, man. I come back to visit.
Yeah.
All I gotta do is catch a flight.
For real.
Yeah. Flights to DC cheap, so it's straight. They ain't nothing to get back.
Right. Oh, well, we just want to welcome you to the OOUU Pod, where we are overly obsessed, unsung, and underground, where we are here to embrace and love on our artists, unsung or underground. And today we have JE the Vandl with us. You're familiar with our podcast, but we like to start off with a little icebreaker game.
All right.
Okay. So with the icebreaker, are you ready? I mean, this game is kind of, any answer goes really. So it's a trivia game. It's called OOUU Art versus Music.
All right.
Okay. So I'm going to name something, and you let me know if you believe that it's for art or if it's for music.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So the first one is artist.
So the first word is artist, and is it for art or for music? I honestly feel like it's for both. An artist is anybody that creates. So that's why they say artist, and they say, and then you would specify your medium. So your medium may be music, and your medium may be visual art. Maybe design, or maybe dance. Any person that creates is an artist.
See what I'm saying? You about to win this game because it's 5 of them. So yes, that's definitely true. So the second one
Ding, ding, ding.
is vision.
It's vision. It's another one. It depends on both. I feel like if you're a good musician, you have vision, and artist is necessary. You can't be an artist without vision. Now, sometimes when you create, you don't want it so calculated. You want the spirit to move you, and so your creativity is really flowing. So sometimes you don't rely heavy on that vision, but 9 times out of 10, you still have an idea how you want something to look. Some artists are more exploratory. Me, I'm a little more tactical in my approach. Now, the process may be a little bit more free flowing, but in my mind, I see it before I make it. So you got to have vision. So I would say it relies more on a visual artist side, but from a music side, if you don't see yourself as something, or you don't see where this is going, and you just making things to make things, whatever, it might sound like that. So I think it's important for both, but definitely for the visual artist side.
Yes. Okay.
Very good.
The third one is expression.
Look, this is gonna be both of them each way. You gotta. I feel like expression is important, or no one to buy into your brand. Like it's got to be authentic. So if you are truly expressing yourself, people connect with that because it's real. It's like there's something about you. Now, what you say may not be for everyone, and as an artist, you have to accept that. But if you're truly expressing yourself, those people who connect with your message, whether that be with music or what you make, you got to be comfortable in your own skin, but you have to truly express yourself. And if you are creating within a shell for the sake of being cool or being accepted, you're not really expressing yourself. So it's very important in both realms that you have to be able to express yourself, or you won't be authentic in either.
Absolutely.
Okay, number 4. So quality and quantity.
Okay. Quality and quantity, which is crazy about this because I think it applies to both of them, but not in the way you would think. Like quantity is not important. Quantity is not important. It's your quality of work. It's what you put out. You know, like because some people, I know a lot of artists, when they be like, oh man, they be having runs, but it's like, is the music really that good, or are they just rapping on everything? You know, like some people do it, and it's just like, you know, understand, like if you putting out trash, it's like, I mean, no shade of nobody, but like, you know, sprinkles on trash is still trash. It don't matter if you do it 100 times. So it don't matter if you got a million like features or you're on every song. If you sound the same and you're not bringing nothing new, or like you're not being yourself, like you know, I'd rather not hear from you much if you're going to sound the same every time I hear you. Like I want to know that it's you, meaning your sound is distinctive, but at the same time, it's like I want to hear the growth in your music, just like I want to see the growth in your art. So I know a lot of artists, like what happens now, quantity is not important, but a lot of artists, because especially with the pandemic and art shows are not really being a thing like they used to be. People, I mean, down here, I mean, the governor out here, he ain't closed nothing down no more. Y'all a little bit more structured up north. You would have never thought COVID happened here to begin with. We shut down for like 3 months and that was it.
Okay.
But it's like, everybody's still been outside, but it like, at the same time, it's like, you kind of like, I'm more of a recluse when it comes to like art now. It's like, I'm not pressed about being outside because I know when I'm there, you know I'm there. So I don't feel like I have to be in your face all the time, you know. But when I first got out here, like 5 or 6 years ago, I was grinding. I was anywhere and everywhere, a radio station, a concert, an art show, a painting. I was painting live. I was making sure that visually you knew who I was, but it was for the sake of building the brand. But I felt like once my brand identity was established, I fell back a little bit. And it was like I don't have to be out there all the time, because eventually I'm losing myself in that space where I'm just making things for the sake of relevance, and they're not necessarily real. It don't speak to me, whatever. I'm trying to, and you still see that a lot nowadays, even with social media, because social media has been such a platform for anybody that's creative. All it takes is the right hashtag from the right person at the right moment, and all of a sudden you got 150 followers to 150,000 followers, and you got brands trying to mess with you and everything. So no one wants to miss that opportunity. So you see a lot of creators diluting their creativity or their artistry for the sake of the algorithm. And so people create for the algorithm, and you get a quantity. And what happens is an oversaturation now, to the point where if somebody said they are artists, it's like, that's not even strange or like, oh, for real, because everybody is. I mean, everybody is. Everybody is. Think of it like, and it's like, I know we still live, this is an icebreaker game, but at the same time, it's like, you got to think about somebody. I know people for a fact that's like, all right, they went to like a painting set and they joint just wasn't trash. But everybody like, you know, but it's like, you had a half bottle of wine and painted the sunset, not like, now we equals. Now that's not how that works. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not how that works.
Let them know. Let them know.
We're not the same. It's like I never did one of them before. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't taught one. I ain't never participated in one. But you know, they got their friends and they following. They're like co-sign that, and all of a sudden, and I see people eating like that, even more successful than I am. And I'm not knocking it, because you know what's real won't last, but balance always gonna be restored. So it's like you gotta keep it. So it's like that's another reason why I'm not so concerned with like quantity, because trends die out, you know. But
that's so true.
But when you create within your own time, which is what you create, is timeless. And what's timeless will survive in the air. So it's like I'm not concerned about it now, because I haven't painted anything. Because I'm jumping ahead, but I ain't painted nothing like since May 2020. But I feel like they just not. I mean, all due respect, I feel like they're catching up to me. It's like, I don't feel like, oh man, I got to get back out there, whatever, because my peers are surpassing me. I don't feel like that at all. I feel like, you know, year and a half done passed. That's all y'all did. That's how I look at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? I've been sketching on my iPad a little bit just to stay sharp, and I share those things. But for the sake of my real work, nah, I haven't put anything out, and I don't put a need to. Because think about it. Think about it now. When, like, think about how relevant Beyonce would not be, right, if you saw her everyday life, you saw her in the studio, you saw this, you saw that.
Right.
Or same thing with Hov, or think of like the iconic people, or Prince or like Michael Jackson and all them was alive, whatever. It's like we wouldn't look at them the same. You wouldn't appreciate it. I feel like quantity and appreciation, like that mystique of just not knowing when somebody gonna do something. Like when like, I mean, I like to, how can I say this without not saying this? It was like, because people get uncomfortable when you compare yourself to greats. But I feel like if I was gonna compare myself to anybody from the music realm, I would think of myself more so like a Cole or like a Kendrick.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
And that's what I was more so it's like, I don't care. And it's just like, and at any given moment, like I might post a painting tomorrow. And just because I want to, and it's like, and I know that people will react to it, or it'll make some noise because they ain't seen it or heard from me in so long. And I like that. I like shaking up culture with that kind of shock value, not just creating something for the sake of popularity, because eventually it's like a lie. It's not authentic. And like a lie, you always got to keep that up. And after a while, that gets exhausting. So I would definitely say quality over. I know that was a really long answer, but it's more so. It's like,
no, but you're right on point. Like you're giving.
I'm
giving what
I'm always saying whatever. I don't care if you put out, whatever you put out every once in the blue moon, whatever. I know every once in the blue moon you're gonna show me something. I'd rather rarely hear from you than you be in my face boring me all the time.
Yeah. And I have to say this. So for all the OOUU Pod listeners, we go back with JE. We were
way back in the day.
Way back. Was it middle school or was it high school though? I think it was.
I want to say middle school.
I want to say I met y'all at Eisenhower. Is where it was at?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, middle school.
And then I'm still like, it's amazing for you to like draw our class shirt, and then I still have it, by the way. But I'm just like,
hey, I ain't seen that in a minute. I don't even know what it look like. I'm scared to see that.
Like, no, seriously. I think and you're originally from Illinois.
Yeah, I'm from a Chicagoland area. I moved out to PG, finished out late elementary and in middle school, and that's when I met. Like I was out there. I was only out there for like a year or so before I met all y'all. And went through middle school, high school before I dipped to Atlanta for college. And then I was in Atlanta from like 04 to 09. Came back to the DMV from like 09 to like I want to say 2014, 2015, and then we came to Dallas. Out here. Originally from Illinois, but it's like, I mean, I like look, PG home still, whatever. My mama still up there, so it's like,
But I wanna say, ever since knowing you, and it's still the same for me. And what always intrigued me about you, I don't think I've ever been able to really tell you this, but you just always been an individual. Like your thoughts, the way you used to rap, the way you dressed, the way you did art, it was just like everything about you was just unmatched. And I'm just really still glad to see that you still have that same energy after all these years. Like he is truly an individual. And
that's very humbling to hear. First off, whatever. Especially because like I'm not outside no more. Like in the sake for like just being in like groups or with people. You know what I'm saying? It's like especially because it's like I got the babies now. I'm full time everything now. So it's like I pop off for the paper and like that's it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm back at the crib like making bottles. So it's like smooth. Like I just another reason why people are like, why you ain't painted? I'm like, man, I got these little girls, man. Like like until they tell me leave me alone, Dad, you're not gonna go paint. But right now, like I can't leave the room or somebody crying.
Right.
So, but I mean that's really crazy to hear because like what's so wild about this is that like out of everything that I've done, and as long as I've been doing this is the first time anybody's ever asked to hear my story or talk to me about anything.
What? Look at it, because that's because
so y'all can say that y'all are the first person to ever interview JE or just talk to Josh about art. Like even then, like nobody's ever asked me. Like I don't know. I'm like maybe not approachable, and then I wasn't ever concerned about it. But I was just like, when you asked me, I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun because I'm not talking about this ever. So I don't know what it's gonna sound like.
It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be amazing. And I don't understand why. Like, you do amazing
look,
work. Like,
I'm very surprised. I'm actually really surprised.
Well, and I used to question that, like, you know, for a long time. And then it's just, I found peace with the fact that it's just like one of my pops would always tell me, he said, like, you know, what's for you is for you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you can't rush timing, and like, your season is your season. It's like, all you gotta do is stay 10 toes down, and just like, you gotta keep putting the work in. And it's just like, the longer they wait, just the more you got to show them. That's all.
Yes. Oh my God. Shoot. We don't even have to ask that question.
I'm not tripping. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, look, the longer it's only making for better content for whoever. So it's like, look, it's fine wine happening over here. So,
no,
you know what I mean?
yo, I was just thinking that's how it is. Like, it's a stew. It's a good stew. That's why even with music, like, you can have songs sit for a year or 3. You know what I mean? And you could listen to it today and you be like, damn, you just made it's been sitting. But it's still good.
This tie all back into quality. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's like, long as what you create is like a real substance, whatever, it don't matter when they hear it. And all it's going to do is really impress them even more to your point. And, you know, when they find out, like, how, is it like you just did this? Nah, this is
I did this years ago.
This been in the tub. You just went here, but it's like, you know, but we here now. So I love it. Just letting y'all know, y'all first. I've never talked to nobody about, and even then, before music, before anything else I've ever done, before any like remote internet activity, following or viral moments, whatever, everybody knew me for art, and nobody's ever stop for a second and be like, hey, how does this guy do what he does? Or what does he think about to inspire him to do this? So y'all getting the exclusive.
Yes. That's what's up.
Okay, so the last one, number 5.
No, we're still on the game, man. That's not still on the game.
Number 5 for the last one. So as you can see, it was a pattern because everything is both, but the last one is digital. And what do you think about that? Is that
digital,
art
like,
or
in
music?
of like in digital. I think digital, I believe, for visual artists is just a new outlet that everybody's discovering. And so I think it's beneficial, especially now, because it's creating a platform where you can monetize for yourself, especially with the emergence of like NFTs and everything. I'm still exploring that. Everybody's like, yo, you got to get into that, all these digitals, all these sketching, everything, man. You can be making so much money. And it's just like, I'm gonna look into it, but I'm not getting to the point timing. I'm not really concerned about that because I know if I ever get into it, when I do it, I know what's gonna happen. So I'm not worried about that. But the same thing for music, I think digital is probably way more important for music than Well, I mean, it's equally important, but like different ways. I think if you are an artist, most visual artists already have control of what they create. Like we own our masters because there's nobody in control. At the max, you may get gallery representation, but all that is they put your work or your name in different like realms and they get a cut off what you sell, but not to the extent of like a record label. A record label essentially owes them, and then you're in debt. In the event, they can't move you the way they thought you moved, but even you're at the mercy of their marketing and then like, you know, their distribution. Nowadays, like not even not even to be funny right now, but like people love clowning them. But young Draco, Soldier was the pioneer there. You know what I'm saying?
I keep on telling people that every time they ask, I say, listen.
They love laughing at him making memes. I was like, Slim, he was
outside. But he did that. He was the first one.
He really did that first, to the point where it's like, you don't need a 360 deal where they own your masters, they get part of your publishing, and then they get your touring. You essentially can do that on, like, the younger generation realizing you can do that on your own. Kids are blowing them off records. They making on Fruity Loops and putting them on SoundCloud, and it's going viral. And all you got to do is get somebody who's willing to handle your business to discuss shows for you, whatever. You can make your own money. You can make your own merch, especially with these little third-party shops like Shopify and all that other kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. You don't got to have no overhead. All you got to do is drag and drop your art there, or people click the link and then they ship out. So you do that, you'll tour, and it's to the point where those are the people that labels are going after, because it's like, we don't gotta do no work.
Yep.
And then from there, like, you create your own digital imprint, and then from there, if you ever decide to get behind a big machine to push you worldwide, it's on your terms. But it's not like back in the day, even when we was rapping, we was like, man, we trying to get deals because dudes rapped about getting deals. And now we're not realizing that ain't nothing but a street student loan. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
You're gonna pay that back or not pay that back, and then you're gonna be making albums like for the sake to the point where you're gonna be then you're rushed to put out quantity for the sake of getting out of that deal, and then probably still being in debt because it's not selling the same. Where with the digital platform now, you don't even got to make a hot album no more. No one cares about albums flopping. It's like, I'm gonna make 2 or 3 hot singles. Exactly. If that single streams 1 million times or 1 billion times, that's the money I was gonna see for the label anyway. Enough to hype my show, and then I tour and I get 30 bands a show, whatever. Now I don't need nobody no more. So definitely digital for music, and then for visual artists, I think it's a good thing because it's the exposure. Like before like Instagram and everything is like, it was like word of mouth, and maybe like even Facebook, they wouldn't like that. You were just connected to your. So it gives an opportunity for like a little kid in Australia to find out about me based on that, from something as simple as a hashtag from the content of what I painted, or if he searches my name or somebody reposts me. So it's allowed me to connect with so many people across the world that I don't know if I'll ever see. It's kind of like hiding my brand. So I think it's important, but more so for musicians, because I'll never be in debt because of my art. And, you know, and so it's like, all it does, it's exposure for me. It's a way to monetize for them.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. That's some good stuff, Josh. I swear.
Yes.
I'm thinking to myself, my first question was actually going to ask you, like, what would you be doing if you weren't an artist? And I'm just like, yo, you just need to be a straight up businessman.
Hello.
But keep bear in mind is like, experience is the greatest teacher. You gotta do a lot of bad business to understand good business. So it's like I done had my share of bad deals, but we have to learn on the fly. And so that was another reason why I guess we can get to this later too, why I transitioned to education, is because it's like, for me and a lot of people my age, we figured out a lot of things in real time. We didn't have nobody saying, hey, don't do this or do this, you know? So there was no, like, a lot of that it was trial and error. So the beauty of it is now what I'm passionate about is a thing that's not age sensitive. So if I, like the older I get, it doesn't make me a less relevant artist. So actually I get better, you know?
Yeah.
Your mind's clear. You don't think about everything as much. Your skill and technique is sharpened. And so, I mean, even like, shit, if I wanted to drop an album right now, I probably still could. Look, Change ain't break, he's like 35. He's like my age. So like,
for sure.
Look, let me get the right beats right now. Let me call Mike right now and be like, Slim, tell me some beats or whatever. It's all right. You know, I could
come on, Max Potential.
Yeah.
I could still do that. So it's like, you know, like those things are like crazy. That's the beauty. Well, one of my favorite lines, not to break off, is from Rakim from the song Classic. And Rakim said, timeless, because age don't count in the booth when your flow stays submerged in the fountain of youth. And I've always carried that from like for everything that I do, to the point where it's like, back to quality, like it does not matter when something happens, because when it's real, people are gonna feel it no matter when, if it come out now or 2 years from now. So that's why I'm like, I'm never rushed. Like, damn, I gotta do this because I see it.
He gotta work.
I'm cool. I'm not pressed to, because it's like at the same time, it's like and to the point, I don't know if I pray it's not arrogance, but it just makes me like less. I'm not impressed with a lot anymore, whatever, because it's like, I mean, it's like because I know why you're doing it. But it's another reason why I refuse. Like, I don't have a TikTok. You ain't gonna never see me dancing or doing a little acting out things. A lot of artists are doing that now to try to push it. You know why they're trying to push it? Because they were creating, and now that well's run dry. You don't know what the next trend is yet, because you burned the last one out, and now you're doing your best to stay relevant. So as an artist, there's two things that's gonna happen. They even gonna start taking their clothes off, standing next to their paintings. To try to incorporate sex to push like lackluster ability.
Yes, and I'm about sick of that.
Or they're gonna try to make you laugh to buy into their brand. So like me as a person, so I can push this resume off on you. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like those are the two things that will happen. And I feel like if you move at your own space at your own speed, you never have to do those things. I feel like it's a low key feeling like it's selling out. So it's like I refuse to do it. Like, you're not gonna see me. Like, I live in the gym, but you ain't gonna see me with my shirt off standing next to the paintings. Like, first of all, I have to explain this to my wife. Like, why are you doing this? It's like I don't have permission to be art gay. So it's like I can't take my shirt off. just the push no paintings. And then two, it's just like, I mean, people may laugh when I talk, but it's like, I'm not no comedian. Like, I feel like if I gotta make you laugh to like this, when this is what I really do, and I know that like, I ain't gonna say I'm good at it, but I know that I'm not trash, so I still try to be humble in this. It's like, I'm not gonna sell out. I feel like the right person will appreciate what I do when the time is right.
Yeah,
you better drop them jewels.
But it's not, it's not arrogance. It's not arrogance. It's confidence. It's just you know your worth, but you're not exaggerating it. I'm sure this is not something you do on a daily basis. It's just confidence.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. I just thought these because we're talking about it, it's like, man, like, I don't want to sound like, I'm saying, like, all right, nigga, ease up. I'm saying, like, but at the same time, it's like, look, I've lived a life. That's what I'm. Yeah. The ones never want to hear about it.
You have a right. Yeah, for sure.
So what do people know you as an artist? Like, what is your name that you go by?
People call me JE, and so JE or JE the Vandl, like, which is weird because it's like down here when I first moved here, it was like I've been like, what's your name? I said it's JE, or it's like this, or they would just see my name. First of all, they would say my name wrong. They were calling me Jet, and I'm like, nah, it's just, you can't make no spaces on Instagram. Like, so it's like you gotta read this one word. But if it's like, but it's like it's to the point now where it's like if somebody sees me out here like in Dallas, like no one calls me Josh. Nobody calls me Josh. Like I haven't been called Josh by nobody in a long time.
Wow.
A long time. Like, unless you know me, like y'all know me.
Right.
And that's like,
it's actually like, really weird to call you JE.
It's like childhood friends and bill collectors are the only one that throw that government. Everybody else is like, it's JE, you know what I'm saying? And I had to get used to that because it's like, it's what I go by. And even that was just JE when it came to music. But if it's just like, all right, now it's like people be like, yo, you JE, or it'd be like, it would weird me out. It'd be like, you JE the Vandl, and it's like, and I have to like stop and step back because I still catch myself introducing myself as Josh. But it is like, because it's like, I don't think of myself as that person. I can write it down.
It's not separate.
Whatever, but it's
not
like,
separate.
But it's like, I'm like, I literally say Josh, and they look at me, and I'm like, oh, JE, right? I'm like, I'm the slim as my initials. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not. I don't have no elaborate like name that I'm saying. It's my initials, dog. That way, like, like when I turn 40, I might just go by Joshua. Who knows?
Right.
It's literally
or Mr.
my name. Nothing special about
it. Right. Well, let's get into your work. I don't know if you got something on like the sidelines or something, but we'll definitely show it on the show once we get into it. But what's one of the favorite pieces or piece of art that you've made that's your favorite?
That's crazy because you don't think because like
I know everyone is your baby.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like when you put a little bit of yourself in all of them, and I don't necessarily know. I don't think I can judge a piece by my favorite. I think I can judge it by the reaction of the recipient. Like I can think about the piece and like, damn, I wish I didn't give that piece to him. So I think my favorite I feel like I'm gonna leave. It's like kids, you're gonna leave one out, so you can't say which one's your favorite. But I do want to say that one that I did that probably impressed me the most. Even like I impressed myself when I did a piece of Erykah B and Rakim, and and then like when I did it, which is crazy because nobody I did it like in 8 hours. That's not really a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? It's like I normally get to the point where but back then though, when I was just like grinding them joints out, I didn't have time. It was like I was teaching in the mornings. I had evenings and weekends, and a lot of those days when I was giving pieces to people. If you were seeing pictures online of me like with the person the piece, like that piece was like wet like an hour ago. Like, so like literally like I did it like that night before. Probably stayed up all night, and then it was in the trunk, and then like after work I probably went back out there and touched it up before I dropped it off. But I was like that, but that was one of the ones that really impressed me. Like I couldn't believe I was able to like get that much detail in that time. And I was like, sometimes they didn't want them, and I'd be like, I'm gonna keep in this joint or whatever. But then it's like, but Eric B was like, nah, I need that joint. I'm like,
oh man.
And so
I love it.
But it was being in those spaces were new to me. So it was like I didn't really know how to move in them yet. Knowing now there's like if I'm making sure that like if I do those types of things that like I have like at least I'm gonna get at least a clean enough picture of it or something like that where I can generate a print. Because people would always be like, you got printed these, and I'm like, I didn't take a picture of it. Like that's it. Like I made it and it was a wrap. So I would say that, and then I think I would say the pieces that I got in the Trap Museum right now in Atlanta. And the only reason why I would say those is because those are the only two paintings I've ever recreated. Because they wanted them. And which is a funny story about the Trap Museum. My partner here, shout out to C Ray Art. He's one of the top artists out here in Dallas. He linked me. He was like, they looking for other artists, and so I submitted work. And then the guy who was like doing like the curating at the time, he was like, we like it, but we're not really like, And I was like, respect. You got to shoot your shot. You can't leave a stone unturned. So I let that type of stuff all on my back. But then it may have been like 4 or 5 months later that I forgot her name. Adaly, something like that. She shout out to her. She still works there. She reached out to me saying, "Hey, we're like restructuring the museum and everything, and we're really interested in these 2 pieces. Do you still have them?" And I'm sitting like, no, they sold, but I can remake them if you give me a little time. And so it was a 2 Chainz piece that's actually hanging like right behind the black Cadillac. That was the pink Cadillac's a black and white piece. That's like one of the biggest one. They said that's one of the they were like, we hope nobody buys that because they said it's their talking point, especially when they have celebrity guests. It's the most popular spot. I think for that's why it's probably my favorite, because it's one of the biggest things in our culture and in art and in Black culture. Everybody, that's like people go to Atlanta, they gotta go to the Trap Museum. Yeah. Photo ops in front of that like a pink Cadillac, and people have no idea. Like I don't do it a lot. Every once in a while, I just go to the Trap Museum Instagram page and I just go to see what they tagged in, and I just see hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pictures of people posing in front of the thing, and I'm like, so they don't even know that's me. I haven't even been yet. I haven't even seen them. I haven't been there yet because I was waiting for them to have both pieces, because I had the Migos piece. It was on tour at their little tiny trap house museum in Miami, and it finally made it back like right before Culture 3 came out. And then so I'm probably gonna head down there like in the next month or so to check them both out. But it was just for the fact that like he wasn't feeling it. But then what was crazy about this, this is why I don't ever take nothing personally, and art is so subjective, because they reached out to me saying that Buddy gave them like the email and was raving about the work. And so and I'm like, well, how did you find out about me? They're like, the last guy whose job this was gave me your info. And I was like, well, he seemed like he wasn't rocking with me at all. But I guess I'm glad I wouldn't like, man, you don't know nothing about no art, Slim, like that.
Yeah.
So I'm on them because I didn't realize, the door was still open. It just wasn't time. It was when he taught me, it's like your patience is everything. So and so and for the fact that people go there and take pictures and everything. And what's so crazy about it is I got coworkers and people that like know me or hadn't seen me in a while that like are going there and they're seeing my name, and then they're reaching out to me saying like, yo, did you do this or whatever? I saw Joshua Ellis underneath the thing. Is this you? And I'm like, yeah, that's me. And it's like, yeah, it's tripped out my coworkers, because my coworkers, first of all, I don't know why I treat you out. I'm an art teacher. Like, why would you think they're like,
right?
Why? But at the same time, again, it's like, I got to take myself out of the fact that it's like, they don't know me the way y'all know me. They don't know that like, this is what I was on for forever. So it's like,
yeah.
So they all taking trips to Atlanta and everything, whatever. And they were like, oh, you did all this, whatever. And I'm bragging to my friends saying, I work with a celebrity. So you don't work with a celebrity. Relax. I'm really normal. Relax. I just paint a little bit and it's making it, but I'm very normal. I'm
super
not
humble.
That guy. Yeah, I'm not that guy. Whatever. I'm humble and I appreciate that, but don't call me that. Don't call me that. I'm punching the clock just like you.
Right.
But the only difference is that when I leave here, this is what I really like. I'm good at my job because, you know, I put my personal life and passion gets poured into my job. That's the only reason why I could do it. Like, I don't think they moved me out of art after my first year and had me teaching fourth grade reading for like 2 years, and I was miserable. And I was like, oh God, I can't do this. They gotta put me back. You know what I'm saying? And it's I was like, it was weird. It was like I was in that room every day.
That's a thing.
Looking like a junior deacon, teaching these kids how to read. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, this ain't it. I mean, I think reading is important, but it's just like that's
it
just
is.
But you know what I'm saying? It's like that's one of my hobbies. So they put me back this year. And so, but it's like, and they be shocked. Even the kids be shocked. Like, Mr. Ellis, you can draw. I'm like, you know what class you in? Like,
you're in art.
Yeah,
you're in art class.
Like even the last little video, a couple pictures I posted on the board when I draw them cartoon characters, they be going crazy over that stuff, and I'm like, who do you think I am? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so those are my two favorite pieces because I never thought that would happen. And I think I'm one of only two artists that got, and my partner that referred me and myself, but only two artists from Dallas that are even featured in the museum.
That's what's
I love it.
Yeah, I haven't been yet, so I'm definitely gonna make my business that day.
I ain't seen it yet either. So
yes,
me either, but that's on my list to do.
Yeah, for sure.
So who is your favorite artist? Who's one of your favorite artists and why?
Oh, okay. Everybody always shies, and you know, they jump to like the Basquiat's and the Keith Harris and everything. Those aren't my favorite. I appreciate those artists. Those are my favorite artists. My favorite artist, I think I would have to say, is Jacob Lawrence, my favorite artist. And Jacob Lawrence, and the reason why is because, you know, my father was big into like art history and anything that empowered us. And I think that's why I'm so culturally rooted. Everything I do is rooted in our culture because it's like, you know, it's like, that's what I am. It's like, I feel like everything about our culture is what inspires me to create, you know, it inspires the way I dress, it inspires the way I talk, the way I move, the way I speak, the way I draw and paint. It's like, you see a little bit of, you know what I like and enjoy or where I come from based on what I create. And so, but it was his series called The Migration. It talked about people leaving the South. To head up north during the birth of the industrial area for better jobs. I mean, for lack of oppression, so they thought. But either way, it was like a series of paintings about them leaving the South. And my mom took me to like I was still living in Chicago at the time. It was the art museum there, and it was this display. It was like I got to see like artists like him and like Horace Pippin and all those guys, and just seeing the work they created. And that's what inspired me because I was like, I didn't know anything about like Black art because they didn't teach in school. You know, they still don't. And so it's like that. And so just seeing that, like, for me, I'm even as a shorty, I cared about the backstory because it's like substance is everything to me. You know, everything don't got to have a deep rooted thing, but you know, like even though that's how I am. Like I got a story for everything because it like you know, it's always a method to the madness. So anything I do, I can tell you what was going on in my head when I did it. So for the fact that like when I read about what happened, I was like, you know, the art was super, it wasn't simplistic, but it was the story. The story was bigger than the paintings, but the paintings told the story perfectly. And I fell in love with it. It was like it didn't do too much. It didn't have to be some like high res like portrait or hyper realistic where it looked like a picture. It was like, nah, it was very distinctive. It was his own style. But then once you read about what it was about, it's like I saw it. And like it's like I felt what he felt. And from that point forward, I always wanted people to feel me more than anything else. It's like I felt like the respect, you know, is generated from whatever people can relate to. And so like for me, if I'm painting like a rap or somebody, like when I'm painting a musician, I submerge myself in a catalog. And that's all I listen to. I listen to their music and their music only. My wife hated it, but it's like I play the same music over and over again. And I blast it. But to the point where it's like when you see it, it's like you understand. It's like you got to really understand this person from the elements that I put in there, whatever, because it's what inspires the soundtrack to this piece is your music, whatever. So when you see it, you don't like, all right, it ain't some picture he just traced off the internet. It's like there's a connection there. But everything I do, I want to bring that to it. You know, it's like I want you to see them, like make that face, like damn, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like you.
Yeah.